Okay, so what I'm going to talk to you now about is, remember last newsletter I talked to you and I said, you know what, I'm going to try this new product, nutrition product from Isagenix. I was going to try it for 30 days. And I was going to say, well, let's see if it works or not. And I had some of you guys, add into an opt-in, so I was sending you updates. So this is going to be a general update for all of you, just show you what happened. Now let me just switch to another page here so I have the results. Okay, here we go. So I started the test, or I started this 30-day challenge for myself just after Thanksgiving. Now the reason why I did this is over the last 3 or 5 years, as a triathlon coach, I get approached by many people. They're selling different products, different vitamins and things, and they say, Todd, do you want to be a part of this? It's a really cool way to get yourself healthy and get your athletes healthy, and at the same time make money. And I thought, no, I don't want to do it. I've gone to some of the talks and I get close to it, and I always think, you know what, this is just not for me. I don't want to do it. But for whatever reason, this year I decided, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give this Isagenix a shot. This is like my 3rd or 4th time someone's asked me to try it. And the lady that talked to me about it is Jen, and I really trust Jen. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try it for 30 days. And the cool thing is if you try it for 30 days, if you don't like it, you just send it all back, the stuff that you haven't used, and you get your money back. I'm like, you know what, that's okay. I'm willing to give it a shot, because what's the worst thing that could happen, right? I guess the worst thing that could happen, I get really sick. But that didn't happen. But what would be the best thing that could happen? I could see some good results. All right, so now I'm starting just to go on like this. So I'm going to try and get right into the details here. So what did I do? I did 2 tests. I figured, when I do this challenge, how am I going to figure out, does this work for me? You can always say, well, I feel pretty good, but feeling good is hard to put a number on, right? Oh, I feel really good. Well, you still can't do that. Or number of hours of sleep or quality of sleep. That's so personal, and I don't want to talk too much about that. So I figured if I could give you guys numbers, right? If I give you numbers, then you can see whether it works or whether it doesn't work. And I said to myself, if the numbers don't improve, I'm out, right? So the first test I did was a 1,000-meter swim test. Now I did the test back in October 15th, and I did 1,000 in 16:13. Now, I think at that time I was just starting with the product, and the test was pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. I haven't done a lot of swimming since Ironman, which was back in July. No, I shouldn't say that. Probably not a lot of swimming since probably the 3rd week in August. So the test, that's a pretty good time considering what I've been doing for training. And I looked back for my training logs, and I thought, how does that compare to my previous times? And you know what? It was almost bang on for almost the last 4 or 5 years. It was really quite funny. I'd usually come in 16, 15, 16, 14, 16, 13. So boom, I'm right there, right? Exactly the same. And so then I thought, okay, let's try this Isagenix. And if you want to know what I took, send me an email. I'll tell you exactly what I took. Or if you sign up, just send me an email. It's easiest that way. I'll tell you what I took. So my second test that I did was November 4th, and my time was 15:54. So the difference was 19 seconds. Now for me, I was very happy with that. And I thought if I could get under 16 minutes, I'd be happy. So I went under 16 minutes by 6 seconds. And if you're not a swimmer, that may not seem like a lot. But for me to go 19 seconds faster in a 1,000-meter swim test, I was quite pleased. And now, don't get me wrong, when I do the test, it's not like, oh, this is so easy. It's still a lot of work. Still feels like work, but at the end of the test, I was faster. I also did a kick test. That wasn't part of my measurement, but I figured, you know what, I'm going to do that as well. Just because I was making my online athletes do the kick test, I'm going to do the kick test too. And I did that on October 22nd. My time was 4:04. And that was the fastest I've gone in the last probably, looking at the data here, in about 4 years. So that was pretty cool too. So I've gone faster in the 1,000, gone faster in the kick test. And now I've got one more test left, and that's the anaerobic threshold test. Let's see what the results are. Okay, so the previous results for the threshold test, and basically what it is, you hop on your bike and you do a certain type of a warm-up, and then the main set is 30 minutes as hard as you can go, right? And so you can hold whatever cadence you want. Usually I hold between 90 and 105, and just give her, right? And so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers to pick from the last year, because we do this test all the time. We do this test either on the online spin class or we do it in the brick class. And the data here is interesting. So the heart rate, this is for the last, since the latest I had was November 8th of 2014. And my heart rate average was 171. And then we go to November 13th, 173. And what you're seeing is that basically my heart rate average is somewhere between 171 to 179. When I did the test on Saturday with the brick class, my average heart rate was 174. So not too unexpected, right? It's right in that same window. So if I was just doing the test based on heart rate, and I know many of you just have heart rate, I would think, well, I'm the same. But really, I wouldn't expect this heart rate to change. If it dropped down by like 10 beats, and that would be a significant change, but there's no change here. It's basically the same. And it's showing me that I'm working really hard. My heart rate goes up and it stays there and it plateaus. So that's, to be expected. But what was unexpected to me was when I looked at the power results. So if I go back to November 8th, my average power that I produced in watts was 204. In November 13th, it was 197. January 24th was 213, March 21st, 207, and the most recent one, September 23rd, before the test, was 224 watts, which is my best, right? So that's pretty good. And so just on the weekend, we did the threshold test in class, and this is how the test went, right? So I put the bike together. I use a CompuTrainer, but it's not connected to a computer. It's just connected to the stand, and I adjust the power. And I do a very simple calibration of the CompuTrainer, but I never use the CompuTrainer as my measurement of power. I use my power tap. The power tap is in the wheel, so it's in the hub. Okay, and so the hub is sending the signal to my computer, and that's where I'm reading my watts. It's not from the CompuTrainer. The CompuTrainer is only setting resistance on the trainer. Does that make sense? Okay, so I did the test, and I started off, and it was funny. The number I started off with was like 300, and I thought this is not going to be good at all. I'm going to have a test where I'm high power and then slowly comes down. I go, this is going to look ugly. But I figured, you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's go with it and just test. This is what this is all about. It's about testing and seeing what I can do. So let's see if I can pull up the data here for you to have a look at. Okay, so here's the data from my test, and I apologize that this side over here is cut off, but it's about 15 minutes just the warm-up. Basically what we did here is, you can see right here, this is a pre-test, and what we do is we hop on the bikes, and I put on one song, and we go, okay, we're going to go hard for this one song, so we're just getting ourselves primed for the test. And then what we do is recover. I get off the bike, and then I talk to class about what's going on, and then what we do is we start the test right here, okay? And so this red line is telling me what my heart rate is, and by selecting this, I can see what my average is. And it's cut off over here, but my average is 174. And again, that's pretty much to be what I would expect, because I've done this test so many times. The numbers are right around there or a little bit higher. So that was good. But what was very interesting to me, let's pull up the power or the watts here, and we're going to see what show. Okay, so this is still just warming up. You can see this is the pre-test, and then this is the test here, right? And so this is the section here that I was talking about, where I was starting off and I was looking at the power, and it seemed like it was too high. And so the average right there is 294. And I thought this is gonna be a disaster. But you know what happened? It dipped a little bit, but then it stayed pretty steady throughout. You can see that it's pretty steady. These drops here, I don't know what that's all about. because I didn't stop at all. So we'll just call that like a couple of blips. And then near the end, you can see that we were able to push really strong because I knew it was coming to an end. And so the average at the end, what was I holding at the end? That's 302 for that little section of 2 minutes. So you can see it was a good effort at the end. And so then if I take the average of this, click here to about there, and I actually have the correct actual number for the 30 minutes. And the average turned out to be 294 watts. So I averaged 294 watts for the 30-minute test. So if you recall, my best test ever was 224, and on this test, I did 294. And to me, I think that's crazy. And I thought, what caused this? And the first thing I think about is, what did I do wrong? And I thought to myself, did I do something wrong setting up the trainer, or what did I do? Because that seemed like it's such a big jump. You know what? I didn't set up anything wrong. I did everything the same. You know, I've done this so many times. I know what I'm doing. And so I think this is what the result is. The heart rate is where it should be. The power, that's pretty high. The cool thing is, right, even if you say, Todd, you messed up totally there. I don't know what you did, but you had to have messed up. How could you have increased your watts by 70 for a 30-minute test? That seems pretty high, right? And I do think that's pretty high. What we did afterwards this test is we went out and we did hills. And we went to it was a nice long hill. Now, maybe not a lot of people in the class liked it, but I liked it. And I invited an older athlete to the class, and his name is Amar, and he's one of the fastest triathletes in Calgary. So he just came for the run portion, and I told him, you know what, you better bike before so that you're not totally fresh. Now the cool thing is he's a very quick runner. We did 3 hills, and the first hill I was running with him, and we're chatting back and forth, and we get to the top, and we're still side by side. And then the second time up, I ran with the middle group, and then the third time through up, the third hill repeat, half of the group went back, and then a small number of us stayed to do the second run. And I thought, you know what, we don't have many chances to run with Amar, so let's run with him. And again, I was running side by side with him, chatting with him throughout most of it until we get to the top. Let me show you the data on this one. So this red here is heart rate. We're going to get rid of pace. We don't really need to see the pace right now. We're going to hide it. I'm just going to focus on the heart rate. So right here for the first hill at the very top, my heart rate was 173. Now when I got to the top the second time with the slower group, it was 155, so I'm not working that hard. And the third time up, where I was running side by side with Amar, I thought, okay, I'm going to stay with this guy, I'm going to chat with him, and I still feel pretty good. And I got to the top, my heart rate was 185. And for me, I thought that was pretty awesome that I was able to run with this guy side by side all the way to the top. When we got about, probably I bet you from here to there, what is that? That's a minute 19. I'd bet probably maybe shorter, maybe like 35, 40 seconds. We didn't talk, right? We're just trying to get to the top of this hill. And we both got there at the same time. And the coolest thing is behind me was Dwayne and Ian. They're both really good runners. So we all got up there at almost the same time. And I looked around, and all 3 of them, they're all hunched over, catching their breath. And I was just standing up there thinking, you know, I was tired. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't tired, but I didn't have the urge to hunch over, so I recovered pretty quick. And I thought, isn't that crazy that I could do that after a hard bike and then have a really good run? And if you look at the number, if you have a power meter, you should be looking at your watts to weight ratio, so power to weight ratio. And if I go to September 23rd, my power was 224. My weight, I weighed 66.9 kilograms. You divide power over kilograms, and I get a ratio of 3.35, which is a good number. But just recently on Saturday, if I do the same thing, 294, and I'm a kilogram less, 66, That gives me a watts per kilogram of 4.45. Crazy. And then I thought, what did I do wrong? How can I be that improved? I go, there must be something wrong. And so what I did is I thought myself through this. I go, what did I do wrong? And I don't think I did anything wrong. I've set up my bike so many times on the trainer. It's always the same. The measurement's not coming from the comp trainer. Like you guys know, I use the comp trainer, but I use that to adjust resistance. It's not measuring my watts. I'm getting my watts from my power tap in the hub of the back wheel. Right? And so I was a little bit, I don't know, I just question it sometimes. And so what I did is I hopped on the bike yesterday. So that's Sunday. I did the test on Saturday. Now let's pull up Sunday. So I did this. It's only a 45-minute ride. I did it while watching Game of Thrones. Is it called Game of Thrones or Game of Thrones, I think. I like it sometimes. Sometimes I don't. And I wanted to try and do a zone 2 workout for, probably 40 minutes of it, or maybe 30 minutes. And so I'm going to show you heart rate, and I'm going to show you power. So you can see from here to there, it's pretty consistent, right? And what I wanted to do is I took the threshold value from Saturday, right, from the test that I got. You get two values. You get your average heart rate and you get your average power. You take those values and you shove them into your Training Peaks zone calculator, and it can determine your training zones. So I did that for heart rate and I did that for power. So I have new training zones based on Saturday, right? And so if we look at this, okay, my peak 30-minute heart rate is 141. I'll write this down. Peak 30-minute, 141. And we're going to do the same thing for power. I'm going to do 30 minutes, and my power is 182. Power for 30 minutes, 182. So if I go into my Training Peaks account, I look at the zones I just calculated. I'm going to go down to the bike heart rate, right? So like I said, during the test, not the test, but during my ride yesterday, for 30 minutes, I held 141 heart rate. So 141 relates to a zone 2 effort. Okay, so I'm not working that hard. I'm right in there. 149 is the upper limit, 123 is the lower. So I'm a little bit on the upper end, right? But I'm not, to say, I'm not kissing that top end, right? Okay, so let's go now to power. Okay, my threshold from Saturday is 294, remember? So I put that in, and I do a calculation. And what was my ride yesterday? My average was 182 for 30 minutes. So 182 puts me right there, zone 2, right? Boom. So I did a zone 2 ride, and that makes me feel a heck of a lot better knowing that the test on Saturday is accurate. So that's pretty crazy. And I'll tell you what, if you can increase your power that much in 30 days, wow. Now I want to say one thing, put a little asterisk beside that power result, is that you guys know I just came back from the Slow Twitch power bike coaching program, right? And so my mind is totally into power. Everything's power, right? So when I did that first test back in September, and I've got my average power of 224, I go in the Training Peaks, calculate my zones, and every workout that I'm doing, I'm going by power. I don't really care about heart rate, but actually what I'm doing is I'm looking at both of them. I got the heart rate zones, and I got the power zones, and I'm going to look at them and decide which one am I using as I'm doing the workout. And usually I go to power. That's what I was looking at. And so I've been training really well. Not crazy, but I've been doing about 2 or 3 rides a week. And it's all, I'd be doing the same workouts that you're doing. If you're being coached by me, it's the same ones. So don't think I'm doing anything special or anything different. I'm just targeting my focus on power. And I've been taking Isagenix. And I'll tell you what, that if I can increase my power to weight ratio from 3.35 to 4.45. Crazy. Isn't that crazy? So everything is looking good. And will I stay on with Isagenix? Yeah, I think so. You know, if I can get results like this, for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer. I'm going to definitely stay on with it. If I can increase my power that much, it's going to make me a much faster cyclist when it comes to race day. So if you're interested in this Isagenix product at all, please contact me. What I'm going to do, the lady I'm working with, she's in Kelowna, and she's willing to do coaching with us. And we're going to do maybe weekly or bi-monthly webinars or some kind of information for you guys that want to be involved in Isagenix. It's, to me, I think it's pretty neat. You know, I'm actually glad I tried it. Part of me wishes I tried it a year ago, because then I would have been faster at Ironman. But you know what? The cool thing about this is there's always another race. I think that's it for the newsletter. I know it probably went on a little bit too long, but I hope you guys found it useful. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do one more thing. I don't have it set up yet, but let me know if you're interested. I'll probably have it set up by the time I send this newsletter out. Because I tried the Isagenix for 30 days, and I thought, you know what, let's just try it. You know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But what if it does work? And I thought that's pretty neat that I could try a product for 30 days and see if it worked. I want to do this for you guys that are not athletes of mine. And I know there's a bunch of you out there who are following me who are not being coached by me. I want to offer you No Limits 30-day challenge. I'm going to keep it cheap. I think I have to charge you, because if I don't charge you, you won't do it. And that's just the way life works. Is if you get something for free, you're not going to do it. But if you get charged a bit, then you're going to be more inclined to do it. Like when I did the Isagenix, it wasn't free. I had to pay for it. And so then I'm like, I paid for this stuff, I'm going to do it. And so I'm going to give you this challenge. It's going to be $50 a month. And what's going to be, I'm going to give you 6 workouts a week, right? You can have access to 4 weeks of online coaching through me, and you can have access to the spin classes and the swim classes. And it could be for, you know, beginner athletes or advanced athletes. It's up to you. Well, not up to you, but depending on where you are. And so if you want to try that, I'm going to put an opt-in box somewhere on this video, or you can send me an email, and we're going to do it for 30 days. And so today's November 9th. So how about we start it a week? No, we can't do a week from now. We could do. Let's do it a week from now. Even though I'll be traveling back from Phoenix, we can still do it in a week. And I'll have it all online ready for you guys to go. And so if you want to do it, please sign up sooner than later, because I'm leaving this weekend for Phoenix to watch Ironman. It's when you try something for 30 days, and if it doesn't work, I will give you your money back. It'd be no problem. I don't care. If it doesn't work, you know, no harm, no foul, right? But if it does work, you might be pleasantly surprised, like I was with Isagenix. I'm like, wow, I feel so much better, and my results are, boom, way improved. And I just want to put a little asterisk beside my results, is that I don't think you can get results without training. You have to be on a training plan to get results, right? You just don't take products and then expect to be awesome, right? Or expect to improve. You have to be on a really good training program. And that's what I did throughout the 30 days, is I made sure I got in all of my workouts. I don't think I probably missed one. And so I did a really good job at following to the plan that I wanted to follow. And I stuck to the Isagenix as best as I could. There were a couple of days that I got off it, but I can talk to you about that if you want. So let's do that No Limits 30-day challenge. If you want to sign up for Wildflower, please do so. The finer details of Front Crawl is coming November 28th. And let's cheer for Anthony and Johan. I don't know how long this took, but hopefully it's not too long. So let's end it right here. This is Coach Todd saying thank you very much, and have a great week. Talk to you later. Bye.